Well, hello and welcome people of the internet to Grimdark Survivors. This is a bullet heaven in the Brotato style with a Grimdark theme, and actually it feels almost a little bit more like a Warhammer, like Space Marine theme. So if we actually take a look at some of the characters here, you can see what I mean, right? A lot of like these, I don't even know what that is, but inside of like a robot skin, we have like, that's clearly like a Space Marine type looking character. But then we have some really cool ones, like this Berserk character, Scuba, okay, Ice Crystal. So we have like some spirits here, fire in, that's a fire spirit. We have just a dude. We're going to be playing as Knight here. We gain HP when we level up, and we also gain HP regen when we level up and get additional damage for each HP regen. So we're going to be focusing hard on HP regen, and I want to go in with Knight mostly because the boss that we fight, man, if you don't have the health, he can just one-shot you. So because we're going in percent-based damages, I want to go with a weapon that is high damage. So we're going to go with the Power Fist, just 10 damage. It's a little bit slow, but we also get 100% of our physical damage modifiers. So there are different modifiers, right? So like the Uzi gets 60% from physical damage, 5% also from range. So a lot of these weapons are going to scale with different types of stats, which is really cool. That's something that we haven't, or at least I should say, it differentiates itself from Brotato. One thing that I notice a lot with these Brotato style bullet heavens is a lot of them kind of fall into the trap of basically being Brotato, which is something I'll talk about a little bit in the future here. Now, one other way it differentiates itself is the way that the campaign plays out. So we start here on a planet that looks not so dissimilar from Earth, and you can see that there's 5 different columns here. Now, in this first column, there's only one selection, but as we move forward, there's going to be 3. I assume that what we're doing is going towards the last stage. So I'm assuming we play the first one, then we choose one of these 3, one of these 3, one of these 3, and then the last one. Each one of these are going to have different modifiers for our enemies and for ourselves. So you can see here, like in this one, our hero has less damage, but way more luck. Nothing on the enemy. This one, the enemy deals more damage, but we get more, they have more HP. Well, that just seems wholly bad. But anyway, to start off, wow, we're getting an additional 30 HP. So this does change every time you start, because I've definitely not gotten that as a bonus to start. I don't know if it has anything to do with your character. I'm assuming not. I'm assuming it's just random, but that is a huge starting boost for us. Especially since we're going to be going for HP regen, we really would like to have that big chunky health pool, so that way we can, you know, kind of use our health as a resource. Now, from what I understand, these the shocking. Let's see if we can get another shocking damage number. Nope, never mind. I think that's crits. I've been trying to figure out if there's like some kind of ability on my character that's shocking, but I do think that's just critical damage. So this UI, the UI is actually something I want to talk about here, because when I initially booted up the game for like a test run, I was thinking, okay, this is significantly different. However, when I went into the Steam page, it was actually, you can actually still do this unless they change this in the, you know, day or two until I release this video. If you go down under their About This Game to the Merge Weapons section, you can tell there is definitely some familiarity, if not copying, of Brotato. Like you have your 6 weapon slots down here, you have your stats on the right, your bio window, which is also right here, you have your items over here, but which is similar to what we have now, but visually it's like identical, and it also has 6 weapons that you combine. This is a little bit different, so they've changed this up a little bit, which I do appreciate that, you know, they've identified the fact that they were a little bit too close to Brotato. And so now what they've done is we have these weapon slots. Now, right now, we only have our 2 weapon slots here. This is a melee slot. So this slot is going to change depending on, I think, on what character you are. This also could be random. I've only tried 2 characters, this and Rust. Rust had a range slot here, so I don't know if this is different for each character. I'd have to do another run with Knight here. But as we go through the campaign, we'll unlock more of these weapon slots. And these weapon slots can also have bonuses on them. So, for example, this one doesn't right now. It's just a melee type weapon. But we might have one that says, you know, the weapon here does additional damage. We might have, if this slot is filled, you get more health. Different things like that, which is really cool. So it kind of incentivizes you to pick up different weapons. So we are looking for a melee slot. We cannot put a ranged weapon here if we wanted to. Unfortunately, we only have a ranged weapon available to us. We could go for the increased damage, less range. There is another Power Fist, so we'll go ahead and pick that up just so we have 2 of those. We have crit, we have physical damage. So yeah, let's take the... Actually, we can't take the physical damage, and I don't really want to lock that in. Now, for storage, we only have 3 slots for storage. And I actually kind of like this system. So one of the things that happens with more Brotato clones is that you end up having this push and pull, especially if you want to have more than one type of weapon, where let's say you have 3 different weapons, right? And so you have 2 rarities of 3 different weapons. Well, what happens if one of those weapons pops up but is not a rarity of the one you already have? Well, then what happens is you kind of just have to pass it by rather than picking it up and being able to combine it with the weapons and upgrade the ones you already have. This way, you have a couple slots to work with that you can just kind of store weapons, and if you want to either upgrade them later or swap them out later, you can totally do that. Now, this obviously comes at the cost of not being able to play with 6 weapons right off the bat. That is obviously a handicap we have, but it's a little bit different, and it makes it game a little bit more challenging at the start. So we get to pick another weapon here. And honestly, none of these really matter because they're all mystic damage, and from what I'm understanding, actually, we just scale damage, not necessarily physical damage. So technically, we could take one of these, but I do believe these are all range, and it's not going to matter anyway for us. It does say common, so I guess we can check it out. So we have every 1 second, 15 damage. We have every 5 seconds, 15. Yeah, that seems bad. They probably stick around longer. Let's just go with the Black Kunai. And we also get, it looks like an artifact here. We can go cooldown reduction. This is one I haven't figured out yet, and I'm going to feel stupid if this is really obvious. Cooldown reduction of abilities. Now, typically, I would think that this is... Well, see, here's the thing. There's attack speed. Now, this might be literally the speed at which the Power Fist flies. And cooldown might be the time between it fires again. I don't know if there's like a travel... There's a dodge. I'm wondering if there's like a travel thing, like how fast the bullet actually flies. So I think that might be what it be. That might be what it be. So thinking about it differently in bullets, or thinking about it rather differently than the fist, I should say. The cooldown is time between bullets. The attack speed is how fast the bullet flies. That's how I'm going to assume that it works, and because of that, I'm going to take the old hood. Now we do have another Power Fist, so let's go ahead and take that. We actually have 2 Power Fists. I guess we're just going to go full-on Power Fist. We can go ahead and combine this. Now, one thing that I do want to mention that I've actually messed up here before. Let's say, for example, let's take this down here, because let's say I want to combine these, right? I combined the 2 that were in my storage, and it just combined and put it in the storage. But let's say, for example, I only had 1 of the Power Fists in my storage, and so it had to combine with one of these. One of the issues that I have is if you hit combine, it's going to pull it down into your storage. I feel like if you have a weapon on you and you're trying to combine, it should just leave it in your inventory. I had an issue before where I did that, wasn't paying attention, went into the next round, and I literally didn't have a weapon equipped. Now, luckily, you can open up your inventory and move things around while you're actually playing. I definitely don't need to spend on the health because I already have a massive health pool. This hurts me. So let's re-roll. We're looking for... Yeah, so we get some HP regen, we lose some physical damage. Is that worth it? I don't feel like it is, because I feel like I want to increase my physical damage. This is definitely worth it. So we'll take that. We have damage, attack speed. I mean, isn't this just... Oh, this is just literally another Power Fist. I'm looking at this, I'm like, isn't this just busted? It just upgrades everything. Well, we'll lock both of these in. And we'll do our next round. Right, so if I went in here, went to details, I could move things around as needed. So we can kind of swap. Oh, over here. Right. Storage and items are 2 different things. Items are like our artifacts. Storage is literally just for our weapons. So you can move those around as you want mid-fight. Yeah, that kind of that really screwed me up. I entered and all of a sudden I wasn't attacking. I was like, what the heck is going on? And it was like, oh yeah, my weapon fell off when I was combining. I'm not sure why that's the case, but you know, it's a very small nitpick. Another small nitpick while we're at it, where the weapons are placed on your character model is really strange. So we might see this if we get another weapon slot during this during this campaign. Especially with guns, like, they all stack up right on the character's face. I don't know why they all stack up like that. I mean, we're just going to take the 10% cooldown reduction. Let's go ahead and buy these weapons. We could also just buy an axe tier 2, which seems reasonable because we can just combine these. So, unfortunately, I acted a little bit too hastily. I could just sell one of these back, which I don't think is the worst thing in the world, but I kind of want to combine these because if I combine these, then I already have a tier 2 ready to go to get another tier 2, and then I can combine those into a tier 3. So let's just go ahead and lock this, and we'll just run into the next stage. Yeah, so, you know, like with Brotato puts the guns all around you, right? So that way you can see all of the weapons that you have. You have other things, like we played God of Weapons recently, whereas not that it's more realistic, but the character has like Doc Ock arms, or like Iron Spider arms on his back that is holding all the weapons. Whereas in this case, they just kind of place them over the character's face, and it's like, it's a small thing. Does it affect gameplay at all? No, but I kind of like seeing like my character model. You know, the designs are really cool, so I feel like there should be a better way to kind of show them off. Ooh, can we get, unfortunately, and unfortunately, like Brotato, or unlike Brotato, it does not collect all the gears, I guess, at the end of the round. Area of Effect, I don't think is going to help us out all that much, but if you're going to give me 5 or 10 or Mystic damage, which I don't care about, we'll take the 10. Now I do have to combine these. Actually, I'm not even going to use these, so let's just sell these for some experience. We'll buy these. We will combine these. Why wouldn't you combine? That's interesting. Okay, well, we'll move you down there, put you up there, we'll give you a shot. 15-6 damage. What's your attack speed? Okay, range, crit chance. Actually, it's very close. So maybe this is, I'm assuming this might just be a sweeping attack to make it a little bit different, because otherwise all the numbers are the same. We do have an armor plate, which I feel like could actually be pretty good for us. It comes at a very low cost. We do have a tier 2 power fist, which we do need. So let's go ahead and lock that in and move on up. Yeah, so you can see here, like, the axe is in the same spot. Oh, oh, okay, yeah, so the axe can definitely hit multiple characters. So I was going to say, it's got to be a little bit different than the fists, huh? Otherwise, why wouldn't you just go all fists all the time? Just fist them on up. That's kind of cool. It's kind of just like a power axe, though. Which, I'm not going to turn down a good old power axe. But yeah, in terms of the characters definitely feel, they definitely feel more Warhammer than, like, Grimdark. Because Grimdark, I tend to think more fantasy themed, right? Definitely going to go with more cooldown because these things are kind of slow here. But in terms of the enemies definitely feel more Grimdark to me. So let's buy these. We can combine these. We can combine these. Remember to put that on. Oh, that looks sweet. Power Fist tier 4. And then let's go ahead and, yeah, we're going to lock in these nut gloves. Lock them in, lock them in. Now, for the heals, I don't actually know where these crystals can be found. I don't see anywhere, like, where it shows how many of these we have. There is a way, so when we go back to the main menu, it'll show us that when I started, I had like 26. So this is another thing that's different. I think that we're going to start here at 59 health. Yeah, so this is another thing that's slightly different from the Brotato formula, that you don't heal to full every round. You do actually have to heal yourself up, which is slightly different. You know, we're kind of used to, in these style of games, every round you get a free heal and you always start at full. That could potentially be a good thing or a bad thing. Obviously, it just adds another system to manage. But it could put you in a bit of trouble. You end the round very closely, just narrowly escaping, and then you got to jump into the next round with like 1 or 2 health. Could be a bit of a challenge, but you know what? It's kind of cool. It's something a little bit different. And I'm all here for it, right? We hear all too many times, and we see all too many times these games that are quite literally carbon copies of some of the better bullet heavens in the genre. Here we go. So now we get to pick a slot up, and it looks to me like it might be leveling up at a certain level. You get one of these. We could either go for more HP, more range. Honestly, our health is pretty good. I feel like I should just go for range. Okay, let's do that. And again, they're all mystic damage. I'm wondering if this is the only way to get mystic weapons. That being said, it's not that I necessarily care, but I mean, can I put this in here? No, so I can't put this in here. Can I put it here? So it looks like maybe, unless this counts as a ranged weapon, because it can't go in the melee slot. Well, it does say throw blade, okay? Don't come at me. I understand it says throw blade, but it's a saber. It's a freaking lightsaber, man. All right, let's go ahead and we'll take the nut gloves. Oh, right, it's weapon in the slot gets extra range. Right, so we'll pick these up. We get some extra damage there for a little bit less, a little bit more move speed. We have some HP regen here, though, so let's pick that up. I don't want the weapon. I will mention it's a small thing, but I do wish there was a little bit better way of differentiating items versus weapons. Now, I totally understand that you can look at the stats here and be like, oh, this has bullet damage and attack speed, so clearly you understand it's a weapon. I just wish there was maybe like an icon, or honestly, the better thing would be a different background, so that way you can very easily identify. Obviously, like I said, you can identify the differences by looking at them, but I think it would be helpful just to be able to, like, very quickly, just at a quick glance, like, even if your eyes were, like, you went blurry for a second, right? Like, you're not focusing on the screen. It's like, oh, okay, I know exactly which one's a weapon and which one's an item. I feel like that could be quite helpful. Now, we do only have a couple waves to go before we get to that first boss. I do believe it is wave 10. And I'm hoping with this bigger chunk of health that I'll be able to survive. The last run I did with Rust, I think I only had like 16 HP, and I think he just like one-tapped me. It was either that or he hit me a couple times in very quick succession. But yeah, I didn't fully realize that I was like dying until I was very much dead. All right, here, and we do have, what is this, area of effect? I don't feel like that is really I don't think this is affecting us at all. We'll just take a little bit of crit. And there is a sword here, which we do need another melee weapon. So let's go ahead and grab the sword. It does only tier 1 though. We could lose some dodge, which is fine. We're not really going for that. We get some attack speed, more experience, and more enemies, which literally all these things are good. So let's take that, or we'll lock it in. And I think we're going to re-roll here. There's an old knife for more damage. More enemy damage, though. Or we could just take flat physical damage, which I'm kind of tempted to take over the 10% damage. Or no, do I want the 10%? Well, 10% does really well here, right? Because then we'd be getting like 4 and some change versus the 2. It's not that good over here yet. So I think this might actually be better for us. And the question is, I think I just locked this in, because 2 flat physical damage is pretty good. Now on the ground, you guys have obviously been seeing all the different drops. I haven't looked into this fully, if different size green drops give you different amounts of currency. To me, what it looks like, and I haven't been able to like pause and, you know, look through like every different frame to see what exact resource it's giving me. But even like that purple one that I grabbed, I did notice that we quickly gained some currency, but we also got some big XP. So I'm thinking at this point, and I might be wrong about this, so please correct me if you guys notice that I'm clearly wrong on this. It looks to me like all the green, purple, and red do give you currency. I think the green is just strictly currency. I think the red will also heal you, and I think the purple will give you more XP. Again, could be wrong about that, but that's how I think it's working. So we're going to buy the ticket first, which of course then we can buy the crown. Going to keep this locked in. Also going to buy the scanner here. We're going to lock that in. We do lose a little bit of move speed, but we gain that HP regen that we're looking for. We're only at 9% damage increase, so we're looking to get that up a bit. But if the purple and red are not giving currency, then they're almost assuredly still just there for healing and XP. You know what I should probably do, which I didn't really think about, but I should probably turn these sound effects down. I think they're kind of loud compared to the rest of the music. My audio setup has kind of completely changed, so so bear with me as far as how I'm recording, how I'm listening to the audio. So still kind of getting used to how it sounds to me versus how it'll sound to you guys. Alrighty here, so I do believe we're about to go into the boss fight. That being said, again, we're just going to take the old visor. Let's take the red bullet box. Let's take the scan. Can't buy that. Shoot. That's okay. We are going to go up a little bit in enemy damage, and we're going to buy an old knife. I think we're going to actually buy 2, and then we'll just leave that locked in. We are at full health, thankfully, and let's get her done. Perhaps this is not... Oh, wait. Is this the boss fight? I think it is. Yeah, I mean, he just hit me for a ton, so I think this is technically probably an elite fight, more than a boss fight. But yeah, he definitely hit me for a bunch. So yeah, likely what happened is he two-tapped me. It was just in very quick succession. Unfortunately, my range is not all that good, so we're kind of really struggling to get some hits in here. Come on, let's go. Get the hits. Get the hits. Like, start swinging your axe, man. Like, I'm sitting there and he's like, do I swing my axe? Like, yes, please swing your axe. Like, what are you doing? I don't get it. Like, wait, I don't get it. How do we win? Did we kill him? So I've noticed that a lot of these smaller indie games do this, where they don't give you any kind of indication that you're either dead or you win. It just kind of like the screen just pops up. There's no like small animation where either your character dies or the enemy dies, or there's no like, even if it's just the game freezes, like red, you know, encroaches the corners of your screen and starts shaking, and then it's like, you died. Like, give me something rather than just popping up a menu and being like, complete. Like, because I don't really know, like, I'm assuming I killed the elite, but it's literally like the second that sword touches him and his health goes to 0, boom, it pops up with complete. Like, I want some kind of more of an indication than just this screen that, like, you win, right? Okay, so we completed that level. Location captured, the first sector. Cool. Increasing our... Wait, so does this mean we have this? Damage decrease, one armor, decrease incoming damage. So I'm assuming now for the rest of the run, we just have 3 additional armor. Capture to get an artifact. Oh, cool. You know what? I'm going to be honest. I literally didn't even know this was a thing. Knocks back all enemies after taking damage with a % chance range. Because this is after taking damage, I'm not that big into it. If you watch my Army of Ruin runs, you'll know I'm a big fan of the trinket that gives you, after you kill a certain number of enemies, it pushes back enemies, but this one, not so much of a fan of. That being said, this one's okay. Extra damage, we get crazy luck, and then we get a 5% increase in damage, which is pretty good with our heavy hitting weapons. This one, we get 3 HP regen. I mean, this just seems like it's way better. Yeah, we get a crazy amount of luck, and so I think... Oh, did we already have this? Wait, why can't I change this now? Okay, not sure. So I think we're going to do the... Let's do the luck one, the second sector. Yeah, because I didn't think I had an artifact. Okay, why are we not attacking? Oh, and my... Oh, so my... Everything just completely resets? Oh, that's interesting. I don't know that I'm crazy about that. I feel like if you're going to call it a campaign, then you just get to keep your gear. Maybe that's too... I don't know how I feel about that. Maybe it would make it a bit too easy, because then you just have a busted build. What else do we want here? We don't want to lose our regen. Yellow stim is great for what we're doing. So I'm gonna assume that we're gonna have more waves on this stage then. Although it could still be 10 waves. I don't know. But 10 waves, I think the thing that I'm missing though is and we're gonna have to beat this this next location here to figure out how it actually works. You know what? Let's give the orange saber a shot. Let's go ahead and combine these. Move this up. Move this in. There we go. That's a saber. That definitely does not look like an orange saber. That's an interesting looking lightsaber. Alright, so we'll buy this. We'll lock this in. Do you want anything else? Yeah, we got a tier 2, so we'll lock that in. Interesting. So it's fire. I don't know that we'll keep it, but I mean, we had to try it. We had to try it. Because I don't really want to go mystic damage. But that is a little... It's a different way of going about it. That the only way that I've seen to get mystic weapons is through leveling up. I don't think we've seen any mystic weapons that we've been able to buy in the shop. It's all been physical weapons. Right? Everything has been physical. So that's really strange to me. There's also no stats here. So it doesn't seem like you can upgrade these. We just have a hammer. I wonder if that's going to be more AoE based. Let's give it a try. Because we can go ahead and combine these. Does this do anything? This doesn't do anything, so we'll put it here. We'll keep that locked in. Less armor, but more crit damage. Well, our crit is completely reset, so there's no sense... Oh, it's... Wait, 10% crit chance? Oh, heck yeah. Yeah. I thought that was crit damage. Wait, what the frick? Okay, that is not what I thought a hammer would do. I figured a hammer would do, like, small AoEs around us. Yeah, so maybe some of the melee weapons should probably be changed a little bit, right? Like, I feel like a hammer, like, this definitely feels like a more of an axe thing where it's kind of swinging at enemies. Now, obviously, you can have a hammer and swing it at enemies, right? But in order to make the weapons feel a little bit different, because stat-wise, I think they were identical, if not extremely close. Obviously, with a lot of the guns, it looks like they're changing what the weapons do based on the bottom tier there, where they're getting damage from. So right there, they're because they attack faster, they don't scale as well with physical damage, but they also get additional damage from a different stat. Whereas these weapons, actually, this is doing a little bit less damage. It looks like maybe it's just attacking faster. I feel like these weapons should be, because the sword kind of did a very similar thing. So I kind of would like to see maybe like, because the axe was doing a bit more like a swing motion. I feel like the hammer should like hit the ground, do an AoE area. Maybe the sword, it's tough because you think of sword as slashing, but maybe the sword is more of a stabbing motion, although that's kind of similar to the power fist, but you could probably differentiate those based on stats. Yes, we'll go ahead and buy. Unfortunately, I can only get one of these, so let's just go for crit chance. We'll keep this around for next time. But I do understand it's got to be quite difficult to kind of differentiate your weapons and make them all feel a little bit different. But if you're not going to do it in stats, like, you got to do it in play pattern, and right now it doesn't feel like they're really doing it in stats either. Obviously you have it in looks, right? And looks is one thing, but they don't play any different. It's like, why would I pick axe over hammer? And maybe they are a little bit different. I would just have to have them side by side to look at, right? I mean, you guys know my memory is not exactly the best, and unfortunately that's, you know, to my detriment half the time. And so I don't quite remember the exact stats on the axe, nor can I go back in time. This is absurd. We're taking Nanomask. Okay, we're taking the purple stem. We will take the... Well, this is just great. Okay, well, we'll take this because it's cheaper. Or actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to take this one now. I'm going to lock this one in for later. Just because it's cheaper, I might be able to like do a reroll or something. And so right now, I don't need that extra currency. So I'll just go down to as low as I can. At least that makes sense in my mind. Okay, gotta make sure that we collect every single last piece of experience, or God forbid, the YouTube comment trolls will come after me. They'll be like, you didn't pick up all the experience. I'm like, you're right. There was some left over. Oh, God, there's some left over. God, they're coming after me. All right, let's go more cooldown. For inserting everything, speed +5. Or we could just get 25%. Okay, we're getting 25% extra damage. Do we want... I suppose... This orange here. So I want to see... Do these combine? Yeah, see, that's interesting. So mystic weapons don't combine. Huh. I'm not sure how I feel about that, because that's... To me, that feels quite limiting as to what you can do. Like, I guess right off the bat, I'm not exactly sure why you would want to go with a mystic weapon over a physical weapon. Like, you can increase damage of mystical abilities, just as you can increase your damage. Although this is percentage based, this looks to be flat based, so maybe that's the difference. Is that you're getting flat damage here as opposed to physical increase. So if you have guns, right? The guns were doing very low damage. Damage percentage really isn't going to increase your overall damage very much, whereas flat damage on these is going to be very beneficial, right? Because +1 here is giving you 10% damage. So maybe that's the justification. Either way, these are gone. We're selling those. I don't care if I have an empty slot. We're getting rid of them. That was stupid. I probably should have kept that. Anyway, so let's take the 10% damage. Let's take the more... never mind, we'll lock that in. We'll take the yellow stem. We'll re-roll. Got some power fists. We'll buy one of those. We'll lock one of those. And since it's 25 extra damage, let's go ahead and do this. Since this one isn't doing anything for us. Yeah, so you see now that we have multiple weapons, it's just kind of like all the weapons are going in the same spot. Well, I guess we noticed that earlier with the axe and the sword, but it's just a little weird that they're all kind of just stacking directly on top of each other. I mean, there's got to be a better way to, you know, illustrate your weapons than stacking them all in the same exact spot. But, you know, like I said before when we were talking about how the game, even looking at the Steam page, which does not reflect this demo at all, how it stands, or I shouldn't say that, because gameplay-wise, it does reflect this game, but just in terms of the UI aesthetics, that was a sweet juke. Just in terms of the UI aesthetics and how it used to very much resemble Brotato, and now it doesn't. You know, it looks, I don't know how old that video is, but it shows that the devs are, you know, currently working on it now. The question being, when is it going to come into early access? And first of all, your guess is as good as mine, and they better get a move on because their planned release date was Q4 2024. And I got to tell you, at the time of recording, you technically have 2 days left. 2 days and 2 hours. It is 10:05 on the 29th, so you better get to it. Let's go ahead and pick up a new hammer. We'll go ahead and buy this, and we'll buy not that. And we'll hold on the rest of our currency. Let's go ahead and combine. Remember to put this on because, of course, it comes down here. Let's go ahead and combine and, of course, put it back up here. That has got to be changed. That's really annoying. Is there any reason why you would purposely do that? No. No, there is not a reason you would purposely do that. Don't understand that. That should definitely be flip-flopped. Oh, you know what it might be? Oh, I'm going to have to test. Okay, so we're going to test this. I think it's probably whichever weapon you're clicking combine on, that's where it goes. So I bet if I combined the weapon that was on my character, I bet it would go onto the character. I would 99%, you know, I would bet 99% of the time that's what's going on. So we'll test that here in a couple rounds. We'll figure that out. I don't know why that didn't even occur to me that might be what's going on here. Right, because otherwise it's like, how does the game know if for example you have, let's say you have 3 white power fists, 1 in your inventory, and then you have 2 on your character, how does it know which one to combine with? Not that it really matters, but for coding purposes, how does that work? What do we see here? So we lose some attack speed, but we gain some damage, which is actually pretty reasonable. But we've been waiting on this for a while, so let's go ahead and take that. We will lock this one in. Let's get a reroll here. I would like to find some more, like, health, honestly. So maybe I just unlock this. I feel like my damage is good. Although, I mean, we're very close to what I assume is taking on an elite. Do have some dodge and we lose some armor. Honestly, that's probably not the worst thing in the world. I'm gonna lock those in just because, like, I need something. I'm gonna need something before this wave 10. Otherwise, we're looking to be in trouble. Because even with 60 life, I was a hurting Chico, and I don't have the health that I did that last run. Got to make sure we get all the experience, even if it comes at the cost of taking damage, because good lord, we can't avoid damage. We have to force ourselves to get all the experience. Okay, so this is where I would like to have a bit more range, so that way our axe could hit a few more enemies, or even like a ranged weapon. Or just something that attacks quickly. We do have more range. That being said, I'm definitely taking cooldown here. We could go for the crit chance. Wait, really? We start at 0% crit damage? That is incredibly weird. Why do you not start at a base of 100% crit damage? That is strange. I'm definitely taking the range here because I'm going to want to stay as far away as I can from this elite. Here's some more armor. I feel like I need the armor. The armor and the dodge. I think we're losing this. Unfortunately, literally all of this is stuff that I can't use. I mean, I could use the spear. Don't get me wrong, I could. Oh, that's why. That's why, because it's a modifier. These weapons have base crit damage. Got it. Okay. Well, I can't buy this anyway. I guess I'm just re-rolling. Hopefully finding something for 47. Nothing. Okay, well, then assuming that there's more than 10 waves, I'm going to hold on to the rest of my currency here and hope we can get the win. But again, I'm kind of... Yeah, okay, so there is an elite here. Yeah, see it like that? I mean, I just took like 3... To be fair, I was standing right in front of them. I wish there was a better way to indicate where he was actually going to be dealing damage from. Right? I mean, he's just shooting wherever I am. Which kind of makes it tough. Oh boy, yeah, they do... God dang, dude, the boss does massive freaking damage. Yeah, so we're seeing here range builds are just balanced. They're just way better than melee builds. Okay, well, we got their survival win. I mean, that's still a way to win. This is... it's okay. I was gonna say, it's great. It's okay. Oh, wait. Hold up. I'm an idiot. There's flat physical damage here. Yeah, so then why... Okay, yeah, I don't know why I didn't remember that. But yeah, now that being the case... Yeah, that being the case, mystical makes no sense to me. Because there's no percentage... Yeah, I don't understand the mystical aspect. Maybe it's just to give you an extra weapon... Right? In case this was blue and you want to combine, then all of a sudden you don't have a weapon. It's just something to fill the gap. But otherwise, I'm not sure why you would want that. But something must have come about their testing, or someone had an idea for a reason for it. I just can't tell right now exactly what the reason for that was, but I'm assuming if you put it in, although that's a big assumption, right? That there has to be a reason for doing something. Half the time there's definitely not reasons for doing things, people just do them. But one thing I would be interested to look at as well is the balance of how big characters are balanced versus smaller characters. Because again, looking back on Brotato, looking back at Dark Chaser Battle Mage, or Battle Tide. There are other Brotato style games, God of Weapons. Not God of Weapons. I said God of Weapons before. Well, that is Brotato style actually. So I'm not wrong there. What's the one that we just played? God of something. God of Armor? No. You got it was from like a week ago. you know, all these things have in common is the characters are all of the same size. And so it's one, you don't have to balance like whether a character is going to take more or less from range damage. But in this case, like this character is a little bit smaller than Rust, but a lot of like the veteran that we saw is smaller than this character. So he would be better at dodging enemies. So I wonder how that's balanced, if they at all took that into consideration, which I would hope that they did. You can get some flat physical damage at the cost of crit, but I feel like crit is pretty powerful. This is just more health. We're just buying this. And we're going to buy this later. So rather than re-rolling, because stuff is pretty expensive, I don't really have... Is there any way to increase... Let's see. So that we can decrease the shop. But can we increase how much we're getting? There's XP, luck, AoE, duration... Yeah, I think one thing that the game needs is some way to... Oh, right here. Currency. Okay, it has it. Never mind. Never mind. I was going to say, some way to increase the amount of currency you get. Because, right, you look at Brotato. What Brotato does is at the end, for everything you don't collect, it doubles up the next round. Dark Chaser Battletide does the same thing. So that way it's not like a feel bad when you don't collect all the experience, which I'm sure that people out there will let me know when I don't collect the experience. It's jokes, people. Go in with a chill heart. Anyway. But yeah, I don't think I've seen anything yet that does increase our ability to get more currency. At least I don't recall seeing it. I know that we've seen the reduced shop prices, but I don't think we've seen, like, get more currency. But one thing I would also like to see... I was literally just about to say slots. I almost think that it would be interesting, rather, because I don't know when these are coming. I'm not sure if these are level based. So if it's always, I was it 7 this time as well? I wasn't really paying attention. Like if these were in the shop, or maybe a bit more standardized level. Oh. Well, drop a cell from level 7 every 5 levels. Skills from level 2 every 5 levels. Small chance of dropping a cell. Well, I mean, it was there. It was just hidden. To be completely fair, how am I supposed to know that if I hover in this area of the screen where there's nothing, it would give me a tooltip? How should I know that? I mean, technically, it's hovering over the level, right? But I'm making... This is a joke, people. These are jokes. Okay. Yeah, extra range. Let's go ahead and take that. And we might as well take 4 damage, 1 time, 8 shurikens. Okay. Yeah, so like this is one of those situations, right, where we don't have another weapon. So I'm going to pop this in here. I'm guessing, again, I'm guessing that that's why that's here. We can go ahead. We're losing a lot of damage off this. This is actually a reasonable pickup then. It actually gives us a little bit of our damage back. We can go with this just for more flat damage, but I feel like instead of damage, maybe I should go with something else. Maybe I should look for, like, I don't know, range or more crit or something rather than spending 100 on this. Does that seem unreasonable? I don't know. I mean, that still seems pretty good. Screw it. Screw it. We're doing it live. Yeah, so we do have the extra weapon now of having the shuriken. Obviously, they're doing a lot less damage than our melee weapons, though. So I can only, again, I can only conclude that that is why they are there as just placeholders or as filler weapons. I also think that the chests should definitely open much faster while they're broken. It's cool that you have a little animation on them, but in a game like this where we're constantly on the move to not get hit, like, you know, you can't like slowly break open and then by the time it's open, like I'm long gone. I'm past there. Like if I break a box, it should be available to me immediately, which is kind of the opposite of what I was saying about the end of the level when you kill an elite. Like when you kill an elite, like the round is over, right? So because your round is over, it should be like, okay, well, we're done here. I'm actually going to take the flat damage. No, I'm going to take the range. I'm going to take the range. We're playing for the long game. Like the game is over, so you should be able to take a second and like, you know, like have all the other enemies like leave the screen except for you and the boss, and then it like zooms in on you guys or something to indicate that the game's over. Versus here, it's like no, just do it. Just open the chest, break it open. Let me pick up my stuff. Let's buy the power fit. Yeah, okay, so now we have this case where if I combine here, hey, we figured it out. Okay. What else do we want? None of this, actually. Let's reroll. More physical damage seems okay. Seems good. Okay. More experience is interesting, but I think I want the more health. Although, do I care about that? I feel like I just want more regen. 1 point equals 0.5 health per second. So if we're at 25 points times that is, yeah, it's just a little bit over a health per second. Increases the enemy amount. That might be tough. I don't think I'm going to hold on to it though. So if I heal here, well, I earned an achievement. Don't know what that is. I do wish there was some kind of indication of how many I have. Obviously, this is turned off because I'm at max health. But I do wish there was some indication of how many I have. Now, when we talk about those crystals, we're going to talk about those after we complete this level. I am not 100% certain what the end goal for those crystals are. Now, hopefully I remember to actually talk about this after, because right before recording, there was another menu I opened up and I saw that symbol. And so now I'm wondering how that's going to kind of work in the entirety of the game, which, again, we'll discuss later on. Okay, come on. Ah, not fast enough. Okay. We could technically just go with a ranged weapon. I have also noticed, this is another small thing. This is the second time. What happens if I put this here? Oh, I can't do that because, well, I can take this off when I put this here. Yeah, so that's fine. This is the second time that the weapon that the character is holding is different than the icon. It's the same gun, but this one has a silencer. And when we had the saber, it turned my hand into fire. I'm not sure why that is different. That feels like a weird oversight to me. Not that it is important to gameplay at all. Again, I understand that. Ooh, armor could be good, but we're gonna buy another weapon. We click here to combine, because hey, that's how that works. We combine this again, or we buy that. Go to wave 15. I'm assuming, is there gonna be elite? Probably not an elite here, right? Probably gonna be at level 20. There's gonna be an elite. Wow, this gun is heckin' slow. It's really slow. Probably going to end up swapping that weapon. Oh, no. We do have an elite here. Okay. Wow, that is a lot of damage. These things hit like a truck. Okay, we definitely have a survival build. If I had guns, I think that we could potentially do this, but with having to be close up, with our melee weapons, I'm not feeling super confident about that decision to go for the kill. And hey, when the game gives you two different ways to win, why not choose the easier for you, right? Like, I think I've talked about it in a couple of other videos before. It's like, there's no shame in taking the survival victory. All right, we're still going. This is absurd. So we take that. Let's see. The scales armor as damage. It's a much faster attacking weapon. Do I want that over this? So, in terms of damage, this is 41 damage, just under a second. Whereas this, if you multiply it by, what, 6? Yeah, 6 you have about the same time. You're only getting 24 damage. Ugh, that sucks. But you're spreading it out, so if you're hitting weaker enemies, this only has a potential to kill one enemy at a time. This can potentially hit more. Right? Or I should say this could potentially kill more. This could potentially kill 2 or 3 versus this can only kill 1. I think we're going to give it a try. And then we're going to lock this in for the flat fizz damage. Sell that. Oh, I thought you could sell these. My mistake. Yeah, there's nothing else I want. I don't want to re-roll right now, so let's just hold on to that. Yeah, see, I think this weapon is going to be better. It is less damage, but it has the higher potential for us because it can clear out a lot of these like little shitters. And then we can use our other melee weapons to kind of take out the big chonky boys. That being said, though, I still want to bring attention to the fact that I would really appreciate having more than 4 weapons. Maybe it's just because I'm used to these style games allowing us to have 6 weapons at a time. And to be fair, it's only 6 because Brotato really started. I mean, Brotato kind of did it first, and so everyone else just kind of followed along with 6. But I've kind of gotten used to it. Extra range. I mean, we're going for extra cooldown, like, obviously. This one seems quite good. We lose some attack speed, but do I care about attack speed? I mean, it gives us range, which we desperately need for our melee attacks. It gives us physical damage. We lose some crit chance. Oh, I didn't realize that this was crit chance. No, I feel like that is not worth it. We get some extra armor, some extra health. We lose some move speed. Sure. Again, if we're trying to go for those survival wins, we're gonna need some armor so that way we can outlast them. We do have HP regen, right? So the more damage we mitigate, the more time that allows our HP regen to kind of help us come back to life. Oh, 17, we have another elite. Okay. Are you stuck? I think he's stuck. All right, well, we're sticking down here. we're sticking down here. We'll just collect all of our experience down here, get strong, and then just, you know, beat your dad at level 20 or something like that, whoever we're going to be fighting. Hey, we even got a lucky dodge at the end there. All right, let's go for the extra range. Tesla, huh? I mean, why would I not take this? This seems absurdly good. The saw. So the saw is interesting. See, like, the saw actually has an interesting attack pattern. So the way that it works is it basically, like, It attacks towards, let's say, like 2 o'clock in that diagonal, and it stays there, and then it swaps over to like 10 o'clock and stays there. So you kind of have to run it into enemies, which makes sense because it's a saw. Yeah, I think I'm selling these. And now that we sold those, and I'm also going to sell these for the XP, we can go ahead and re-roll once to see if we can get something. Of course, they're 84. Freaking A. Okay, we'll lock that in. There's another Tesla. We're going to lock that in because it's real good. We get more crit chance and more dodge. I mean, yeah, we just have a great shop here. So it's every 5. So we got 7, 12... Did we get one at 17? Wait, we got one at 17? Really? I thought it was earlier than that. Well, anyway. Oh, God. See, this is why armor is great. This is why armor is great. Armor is good. We love the armor. We love the dodge. Holy crap. Enemies are pushing me. Enemies are pushing me. Man, I feel like melee is such a bad decision in this game. I feel like it's such a bad decision. The range is just so bad, and with like having to dodge enemies dashing at you, projectiles, and then enemies just walking, it's just like I don't feel safe standing next to enemies. It's just like you gotta go range. It feels like, or you just have to spec way harder into dodge, I guess. Like dodge and armor, because like at the end, like we had all this damage, but I felt like I couldn't stay close to enemies because I was gonna get hit by their, because like everything was shooting projectiles. So to me, it just felt like this damage wasn't really doing anything. Maybe I needed more range or something. I don't know. There's probably more that I could have done, but it's a learning experience. All right, we also got the achievement, which gives us some gold. So gold we can use for meta progression, location not captured, and you have failed. So this is kind of why I said this was a little weird, right? Because you have new campaign, but the thing about the campaign is that like if we make it all the way here and I die, I immediately have to start everything over. To me, that's not a campaign. So maybe I'm thinking I'm looking too hard into it simply because of the word campaign. But if you're going to call it a campaign, I feel like there should be campaign and roguelike mode. Rather than, or maybe you just have 3. You have campaign, you have roguelike, and you have endless. So roguelike would be like just, for example, just one time, 20 waves, that's it. Campaign, I feel like would be, because this system is very interesting. I like what they're doing with this. What I don't like, though, is that you die once and you have to restart everything. I feel like what it should be is you have one campaign for each character. You go through and then you just progress. So you beat this. Once you beat this, you're on this tier. And then if you die, okay, you just don't make any progress. You just have to do it again. That's what I think campaign should be. And then roguelike mode is just your standard. If you just want to do it one time, just a Brotato style, you go in 20 waves, that's it. I think that would be, and then in campaign, you could also make it so that like it starts at 10 waves, goes to 15, goes to 20, 25, 30, or something like that to make it increasingly difficult on each planet. I'm just not a fan of how they're doing that right now. So the thing that I wanted to mention here, these crystals, right? There is a store. Because there's nothing here yet, I can't comment on it, but I'm curious what this store is going to be. I don't even know where these crystals are coming from. I'm assuming they're when we're collecting on them, but in game, I have no basis of how many crystals we're collecting because I didn't see an indicator. All I saw is for health. When you use the buy button, you'll be redirected to off because of save progress and purchases. So yeah, I'm not exactly sure what this store is going to be. I don't know why you would have to be redirected to authenticate if you're using in-game currency. So I don't know what that's all about. But then we have an arsenal here, right? So we have a couple different upgrades. We have Rage, which seems to be just for damage, attack speed of range, damage of ranged weapons, damage physical. We have different survivability and utility. Very small amount of progression right now. There's also going to be weapon and character, but it's not in the demo version. So yeah, definitely some things that I'd want to see done a little bit differently in this one. However, I do think that kind of where they're starting out, even from where I've seen just on the Steam page, I think that they are moving in the right direction to differentiate themselves a little bit from that Brotato formula. There are just a couple things that I'm questioning, right? Like the mystic weapons, I'm not really sure their purpose. In other games, so for example, one of the things that we didn't really see, there's no differentiation between physical and range damage, which is something that we see in other Brotato style games, is that that's the differentiation. But in this one, it's just everything is a physical weapon, so you can go for a more a split build, which I think is fine, because where the game actually makes you differentiate there is in your cells, right? So rather than in literal Brotato, where if you did it this style with these stats where both ranged weapons and melee weapons were both under physical damage, then you could just pick whatever you want. But in this game, you can't do that. You do always have one general slot that you can use, but if you take 3 physical cells around your around the outskirts of your character, well, then you can only have 1 ranged weapon. You can of course change this and maybe pick a ranged weapon, or you can pick a general to lose some stats. But that, I think, is a very interesting way to go about it, in order to have both ranged and physical weapons at your disposal. The mystic weapons, again, like, I just don't know how they fit into the game other than being a placeholder. I'm having a hard time understanding why you would want to go with a mystic build. The only other thing that I can imagine is if you wanted to play where you're not spending money on weapons and just saving your money for all items. That's the only real other thing that I can comprehend at this time as to why you would want to go with mystic weapons, but I still feel like that is a very, very poor option compared to just taking better weapons. But other than that, guys, those are my thoughts on Grimdark Survivors. Let me know what you think down below in the comment section. And of course, if you enjoyed your time with me today and you liked the video, would you kindly smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for more roguelite action? I'm out of here for today. I've been Ganyonz. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.